The Mariana Trench is the deepest part of our planet's oceans, reaching a depth of more than 11 kilometers. This place is often referred to as the real bottom of the Earth. So when I got the opportunity to take an unmanned expedition to this mysterious underwater location, I couldn't miss it. I decided to get to the bottom of the Marianas Trench in a special capsule that was lowered by a giant crane. Before the start of the descent, I adjusted my spacesuit and made sure that all systems were working properly. The pressure at such a depth could reach 1,000 bars, which is equivalent to being 100 elephant feet. Also, the temperature overboard would drop to 1 degree Celsius. At the same time, I would find myself in complete darkness since sunlight does not penetrate so deep into the water. But the most important thing for me was to maintain a constant communication with the outside world through the capsule as speakers. Then everything went according to plan. The capsule successfully descended into the ocean abyss, and after 36 hours, I found myself at a depth of almost 11 kilometers. Huge underwater mountains loomed over me from all sides. It felt like I was flying in outer space among the planets of the solar system. But I quickly realized that this was just the beginning of my journey because the capsule had to descend even lower. All the way down there, I saw huge lobsters, some of which were larger than buses. But they didn't bother me because they were completely blind and therefore could not see me. These crustaceans have enormous claws that can easily crush a person. But their eyesight is so poor that they probably wouldn't notice even if I waved to them. At a depth of 8 kilometers, I saw strange jellyfish that floated past the portholes of the capsule. Their tentacles were several meters long and could easily entangle the entire vehicle. Jellyfish live in the deepest parts of the ocean where no predators can reach them. And although they don't pose a danger to humans, they can be a serious threat to ships. If a jellyfish gets entangled in a ship's propeller, it could cause catastrophic damage. As I descended further, I encountered schools of fish. They were silvery, pink, and even golden. I had never seen such beautiful fish before. Many of them swam right up to the portholes of the capsule and peered inside. It seemed as if they were trying to figure out who was in there and what I was doing in their underwater world. Suddenly, one of the fish began scratching the surface of the capsule. At first, I thought it was just curious, but then it disappeared from sight. A minute later, hundreds of fish gathered around the capsule and began scratching its hull. I realized that they were trying to tell me something, but I couldn't understand what. And then one of the fish darted to the side, and I noticed a huge shark right behind it. It was like they were hurting me somewhere. Following the fish, I found myself in a place that looked like a gigantic underwater city. There were houses, streets, and even shops. But instead of people, bizarre creatures lived here. Some of them resembled miniature whales, while others looked like weird hybrid creatures. The fish swam away, revealing a majestic whale skeleton. This was a humpback whale that must have died many years ago. Despite the incredible pressure, the bones remained intact. Then the fish returned and began swimming around me, making strange sounds. Realizing that they were trying to communicate with me, I decided to respond. I started making various sounds, and the fish seemed to like it. They circled the capsule and suddenly began to move in a certain direction. Curious about what they wanted to show me, I followed them. And soon I saw something that left me speechless. It was an underwater volcano with lava gushing out of its mouth. The fish were trying to warn me, but I didn't understand their language. Now I realized why they kept circling the capsule. They probably wanted to drive me away from this dangerous place. It turned out that the volcano was not active. Otherwise, no one could survive such a powerful eruption at a depth of 10 kilometers. Lava flows from underwater volcanoes form new islands, and sometimes these eruptions can cause tsunamis. As I continued to explore this alien underwater world, I came across an entire fleet of rusty ships that had been abandoned at the bottom of the ocean. Apparently, they were damaged during fishing operations or simply lost their way and ended up at the bottom. The most interesting thing is that even at such depths, people don't forget about their belongings and leave trash at the bottom of the ocean. Plastic bottles, cans, and other debris floated past my capsule. I tried to make contact with the outside world, but the connection was too weak to transmit images. All I saw were distorted flashes of light from the surface. Sometimes strange underwater creatures swam up to the portholes of the capsule and peered inside, probably wondering who or what I am. When the capsule finally reached the bottom of the Mariana Trench, it gently landed on a flat sandy surface. I looked out the portholes and saw bizarre plants swaying in the current. They were absolutely unlike any plants on Earth. Most likely, these species have never seen sunlight and evolved in complete darkness. To my surprise, someone was already living in the very center of the Mariana Trench. Strange creatures resembling slugs moved along the seabed. They were probably the only inhabitants of this area. After all, nothing else could survive under such pressure, but I still had to return to the surface. The captain gave the capsule a jolt, and we slowly began to rise. As we ascended, the water pressure gradually decreased, and I could finally breathe normally. When the capsule surfaced, a crane grabbed it and lifted it out of the water. Before I knew it, I found myself on the deck of the ship. It felt like a miracle that I had survived the incredible pressure, cold, and darkness of the Mariana Trench. I thanked the crew of the ship for their help and headed home. On the way, I couldn't stop thinking about the wonders I had seen, from giant sea monsters to bizarre plants. The trip to the bottom of the Mariana Trench was truly amazing, and I hope to go back there again someday. After telling everyone about my incredible adventure, I was awarded the title of Hero of the Deep Sea. For my courage and determination, I was given a unique spacesuit that I will wear on my next expedition. So my friends, let us take a moment to appreciate the beauty of our planet and the incredible adventures that await us in its unexplored corners. Smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching the video, folks. See you soon.